Today, WOAY ABC4 Community Forum, where we talk to community leaders and local success stories to discuss important information that affects all of us here in Southern West Virginia. I'm your host, Brandy Lawrence, and today we're joined by another distinguished guest. WVU Medicine Princeton Community Hospital CEO and President Karen Bowling joins us this morning. Thanks so much for coming to the forum.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely, me as well. You all do so much great work over at WVU Medicine PCH. You all are very great about letting us know what you all have going on. But for the people out there that may not understand what the affiliation between WVU Medicine and Princeton Community Hospital is, can you explain to them what that means for you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's really important for people to know and to understand because, for about the last 4 years, we've been working closely with WVU Medicine to affiliate and ensure that, we have all the best services that are necessary here locally, close to home. And, we started this journey 4 years ago when we started with a management agreement with Princeton Community Hospital. The board really asked us to come in, and I think they could see, the value of having an academic medical center and a large system being associated with Princeton Community Hospital and what that could bring to the communities. And so as we have gone through our journey, so many different things have happened. But again, our total focus is how can we bring that, high-level quality academic medical center type of services into the local community so that people really don't always have to drive to Morgantown to get that same level of care. Princeton Community Hospital was already providing great care. All our job is really at WVU Medicine is to just enhance the services and continue to focus. And, we do that in a lot of different ways. We invest in the communities. We provide telemedicine services to give better access to care. And it's just, it's really been for me a labor of love. I'm from Southern West Virginia, so this is very important to me. I think sometimes that we're a little bit underserved in our area. And to be able to bring this world-class service here locally from an academic medical center to Princeton to enhance services that were already good to begin with is something that it's really felt good for me.
Absolutely, and super important for us in the community as well. And you all are always doing different groundbreaking things that are really just making PCH even better, WVU Medicine even better, and our community even better. And I saw recently that you all entered an affiliation with WVU Medicine Children's, and that will actually help serve more kids in the community. So what will that entail for the local community?
So thank you for asking that question because I think, we all know children are important. And, what can we do as a healthcare community to make sure people, parents in particular, are getting services for their children that they need? So our affiliation means several different things. One is we have a very, very robust telemedicine clinic in Princeton. And what does that mean? It means that your child can go into our telemedicine clinic, be seen by a nurse practitioner, and then be seen by 16 different subspecialists from Morgantown. Think about that. So if your child has a problem, a neurological problem, a pulmonary problem, if there's genetic issues, if they have a endocrine problem like diabetes, then they can come to Princeton, not travel all the way to Morgantown, and be seen by telemedicine. The other thing that provides is we've enhanced our services at the hospital for children so that we can do most of the testing right there at Princeton as well. So it saves families a trip to Morgantown and still getting that same level of great care in an outpatient setting. But it allows us to ensure that, there are no barriers for care for children. And that's what's wonderful about our outpatient clinic. We also, as an example, went through a process where our emergency department is something called Always Ready for Kids. And it's an outside certification. They actually come in and they evaluate and make sure you have all the parameters necessary to be ready if there's any child-like emergency. And so our emergency room is an Always Ready for Kids emergency room. And then if you have to be admitted to our hospital, if you're a parent that brings their child in and needs to be admitted, if it's something that, for example, the child gets admitted and then something unusual happens, then we have the telemedicine option to contact the specialist at WVU Medicine Children's to consult with them right then and there. And so they can say, for example, no, the child's care is fine, you keep them in Princeton, it's not a problem, here's what I might suggest or not suggest. And we have great community pediatricians in a pediatric hospitalist program. Or they may say, no, this could be serious, let's make arrangements to transport your child to Morgantown, to the WVU Medicine Children's Hospital. And so that's, again, allowing that connectivity, that continuity of care for our child, for any child that might come in there. And then we also have a great women's center with a level 1 and 2 nursery. And again, these are things where, we have the expertise of the Children's Hospital that we bring to Princeton to allow us to be able to better serve children in our community. So it was really a great day that day.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I feel that Princeton Community Hospital is absolutely a community hospital because, you all have a whole community, especially with WVU Medicine. It's a community of physicians and healthcare workers that are really working to make sure that we're getting the best care here.
Right.
And it's really awesome. And I see you also have some clinics outside of that. One, or local one, would probably be Rainbow Pediatrics, that operates as kind of a WVU Medicine PCH clinic.
We don't have a formal affiliation with them, but we have really good relationships with all of our area pediatricians, whether they're in Princeton or in Beckley. I mean, we try to make sure WVU Medicine Children's really reaches out. WVU Medicine Children's has affiliations across the entire state of West Virginia, not just in Princeton, where, we are ensuring that, pediatricians in our local area or any type of provider knows how to access the services that, we can provide for children. And that's exciting to me because this is what it's all about. Access to care. That's what we worry about, is that there is not the kind of access to care that we would like to see. And so that continuing that relationships, it doesn't have to be formal, it can be informal. But having relationships is extremely important to us, and we'll continue to focus on that, not just in pediatrics, but really just across the board.
Definitely, definitely. And I think both of you have so many different resources, whether it's these local clinics and WVU Medicine PCH. I believe you all have resources that you can bring together and provide even greater care. So if any pediatric doctors or clinics are watching that wants to get in with WVU Medicine, would they need to get in touch with you all, sort of build that informal relationship?
Yeah, I mean, any type of formal relationship, we're always open to that. We have, again, lots of informal, just like with our friends at Rainbow, but a formal affiliation, is something that if you're interested, we always want to hear from you, but we're always willing to continue with informal relationships, and so is WVU Medicine Children's. It's an exciting time, really, to think about how we can all work together for the good of the children in our communities. And we do that in a lot of services, not just children's. I mean, we do that with cancer care, we do that with cardiac care. Our goal is really to be able to provide the latest and greatest at Princeton, but that when we can't provide that care, to have that affiliation with our academic medical center to get people where they need to be in a very short time frame with continuity of care provided. And that's what it's really all about for us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm glad that you mentioned all the things that you all are doing with cancer care as well, because that has been a big thing too, your cancer centers. And I believe there's one in Bluefield.
Right. So we've really done a lot to expand cancer services. So we started with consolidating our medical oncology and putting it on campus. It was partially on campus, partially off campus. And, we wanted to be like a one-stop shop for cancer patients. We wanted them to feel that if they come to our hospital, they're not going to have to travel to 3 or 4 different places to get the care they need. And so we moved our clinics onto the campus at Princeton Community Hospital. We also moved our infusion center. So infusion centers are very important for people. If you need obviously chemotherapy if you're a cancer patient, but there are many other types of infusions. People get infusions for rheumatoid arthritis, or now we're affiliated with the RNI Institute, Rockefeller Neuroscience Institute in Morgantown, and we actually provide the infusions for, if you meet criteria for Alzheimer's. So, you know, there's things that we do that are affiliated with, continued affiliation in our cancer centers affiliated with the Cancer Institute in Morgantown. And we are, you know, in our Bluefield campus, we do radiation oncology. And that, oh my goodness gracious, I mean, it is just, you know, we have a state-of-the-art machine that can do amazing things in terms of cancer treatment. I mean, it literally can just pinpoint, without damaging the tissue around it, just specific type of radiation to that particular cancer tumor or the spot where they need to go. And that has just been like a game changer. Because now we know that, you know, the goal is to reduce damage to the normal tissue. And our new machine in Bluefield has allowed us to be able to do that. And then we're going to be building a new cancer center. We're doing a groundbreaking in August for our new cancer center. And once that cancer center is built, we'll move our state-of-the-art machinery that we have in Bluefield to that cancer center. We're going to buy a second linear accelerator, which is used for radiation oncology. And we're going to have, you know, this like unbelievable cancer center that's going to be able to treat people from really a 10-county region, and that's how we feel like that we're able to meet those needs, and it'll again be a one-stop shop for our cancer patients. Very important.
Definitely,
very important.
Very, very important. And it's an accredited cancer, your program is also an accredited cancer program. And when I was reading about it, I saw that accredited facilities usually diagnose and treat more than 70% of all newly diagnosed patients. So I can only imagine how wonderful that will be for our outcomes, our cancer outcomes here in West Virginia, diagnosis and even survival rates.
Absolutely. And you know, this statistic is not a good one. In southern West Virginia, we have very poor outcomes compared to the rest of the state. Part of that is access and, you know, availability. So our goal is really to improve access and availability of these, you know, state-of-the-art treatments. Also, with our new equipment in our affiliation with the Cancer Institute of Morgantown, we can actually do clinical trials. And that's a very big deal. You know, sometimes, you know, you get to this, you know, last resort, there's not much else that we can do, but there are clinical trials that, you know, might, one, help the patient or help other people in the future based on how the trial goes. So we have that capability with our affiliation with the Cancer Institute to even do clinical trials both for radiation oncology as well as medical oncology. And so, again, that's bringing things that you would normally have to go to Morgantown to get to Princeton, West Virginia. So you think about that, you know, it's a very, very important aspect of the care that we provide, that we can do all those things. And if you need a consult with someone in Morgantown, then, you know, you can get that consult if, you know, there's a specialty type of cancer that you may have. We can send you to Morgantown for that one trip. And then once they do the consultation and create the treatment plan, which will be in your record, which we will see, you can come back to Princeton to have the treatments. Again, local, close to home treatment. And all of us know people who've had cancer, or my father died of cancer. So it's important to get that local, close to home, because, you know, it is a very challenging journey for patients who have cancer to go through that, and we want to make it as convenient and easy as possible for them. And I think that our cancer center will be able to do that. I think we do it now, but it's a little bit with you know, our radiation in Bluefield and our medical oncology in Princeton. But once our cancer center's built, it is a game changer for people.
Yeah, literally just a one-stop shop for everything. So
absolutely.
That will be really amazing and awesome to see. We're about to go into our first break, but before we go, do you mind plugging the contact information so people know where to go to learn more about WVU Medicine PCH?
Yes. So if you're interested in learning about us, whether it's know about what services that we provide, or you want to be an employee, you go to our website, WVU Medicine PCH website. website. You can click on different links and it'll take you to employment opportunities. It will take you to our clinics, our telemedicine clinic, all the things I've talked about. And I really do suggest people join our Facebook page. We really talk a lot about the services that we're providing, things we're doing. So if you haven't joined PCH Facebook, please do, because you'll get a really good picture of all the things we're doing by looking at our Facebook.
Absolutely. You all are very, very active, and especially with events and things in the community. It's super fun. And if you live locally, I feel like that's a cool thing to go out and be a part of, just all the cool things that they do. So thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us for the first half of Community Forum. Make sure you come back after the break. We're going to talk more about WVU Medicine, Princeton Community Hospital, and all the amazing things that they're doing for us. Welcome back to Sunday Community Forum. I'm here with CEO and President Karen Bowling of WVU Medicine, Princeton Community Hospital, and we're talking about all the wonderful things that the facility has been doing. One of the wonderful, awesome things that just happened with you all. You earned the Perinatal Award from the West Virginia Division of Immunization Services for outstanding efforts in protecting babies from hepatitis B. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. I have a great team at the Women's Center. They are very committed to quality and taking care of the infants. That's important to them. And so it was really a big honor to get that award, because it's only one hospital in the state of West Virginia every year, and we received it. And I think just thinking about why that is important to us. If you think about, our commitment to quality, hepatitis B is a disease you can be immunized against. Hepatitis C, no, but hepatitis B, yes. And so the fact that we report this in appropriately to the Department of Health so that any babies who've been exposed can be followed up, that means a lot. The fact that our staff is so committed to it that we're the best reporters in the state of West Virginia to ensure the continuity of care for these babies. Very proud of my team for that. Very proud.
Absolutely. Well, shout out to them as well. Women's health and children's health, super important, and that dedication, we definitely need that. And another wonderful thing that you all do is cardiac care. So you have an affiliation with the Heart and Vascular Institute, one of the nation's top-rated cardiac programs. So what does that mean for all of us in the state of West Virginia in need of cardiac and vascular care?
Well, again, that's another thing I'm very proud of. HVI in Morgantown is just an outstanding institute, known worldwide, not just in the United States. And our affiliation with them really just means that, we continue to provide the same level of care at Princeton Community Hospital that we would at Morgantown, so we have the same protocols. We have an outstanding interventional cardiologist, Dr. Ward. He's wonderful, and he does a great job. He is wonderful to work with. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We built a new cath lab about 3 years ago, and also we added about 2 years ago a cardiac CT machine, because that's something now that, there are some patients that, different kind of criteria, but, if they meet that criteria, this cardiac CT can really say if they have blockages, different from getting a cardiac cath and other types of stress tests. So we wanted to make sure that in our arsenal, all the things that, we can do to take care of cardiac patients, we had that. And when that machine was installed, it was one of only 3 machines on the East Coast that could do the kind of things that need to be done to make sure that, again, we're delivering that high quality cardiac care. So great cardiac cath lab, wonderful team. We're really proud of all the work that our team does in the cardiac cath lab. They're an outstanding group. We get not just patients who come into the Princeton Community Hospital ED, but we actually get transfers in from other places where the patient's potentially having a heart attack. and we know they might need emergency STEMI, which is, relieve the blockage with a stent right away. And so I tell people all the time is hard. If you're having chest pain, you have any history of cardiac disease, don't take that lightly. Get to the emergency room and let's, make sure that we can get you taken care of. And our team does a fantastic job. And the HVI Institute and our relationship with them really allows us to continue to provide that top-notch care.
Definitely, definitely. And so important for all of us here too. That's something that, no pun intended, is close to my heart as well, because my father died of a heart attack, and having access to that type of care, and especially close enough to you, it makes all the difference, and it could literally save lives. So,
absolutely.
It's so important, so important. So, thank you for all the work that you all do and all the important things that you all do that keep us all healthy. And then we also have another wonderful thing that PCH is doing is you were accredited for robotic assisted joint, knee, and hip replacements. So what has that done for some of the people that have benefited from these replacements? What has that type of robotic assisted care, how does that make it different for them, like as opposed to traditional replacements?
Well, it really does make a difference. It is very precise. The robot, as we call them, they have the ability, this robot, to be able to help make sure that everything is measured and the incisions are as they need to be, and the joint is again placed as it should be, and that is important for longevity of the joint. And we are DNV accredited joint replacement hospital, and we have excellent orthopedic doctors. We have an orthopedic center of excellence. When you come in and have an orthopedic, whether it's in a hip or a knee, you're going to a particular spot. We do a joint replacement class. We really make sure that you understand not just the pre-op care, but the post-op care, what you need to do when you get home. And our physicians are just outstanding. We have 3 orthopedic physicians that do a phenomenal job taking care of patients. It's funny that you mentioned that. I was in the hallway the other day and someone stopped me who knows me. I know a lot of people have been around a while. And she said, "Hey, we're back." And I said, "Oh, okay." And she said, "Yeah, we're here for our second knee." They had one knee done and did extremely well, waited about 6 months and said, we're here to get our other knee done. So we just did so well, and we're ready to get the second one replaced, and just so thankful for your hospital and what they've been able to do to increase his mobility and his ability to get around and do things he hadn't been able to do in like the last 10 years. And so for me, that was a patient story, right? That made me feel good that we're doing that kind of work, and it's really impacting patients in a positive way, because it's very challenging when you don't have the mobility that you need. It's hard for people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I can imagine that the healing time is probably better.
Oh, absolutely. Well, again, I think there's very specific things you do for recovery, but, if you're in a place that has that DNV certification and we've met all the quality standards, then you should feel good about coming in and having it done, knowing that you're coming to a place that our focus is quality. And that means a lot to us, our orthopedic physicians, our team in the OR, our post-op team on the floor, nursing staff, our physical therapy team. You come in to have a joint replacement that morning, and that afternoon you're up walking around. And that's what you're supposed to do, because that is what we want to do, is move you back into normal activities as soon as possible. So great work done by our Orthopedic Center of Excellence.
Absolutely. Well, kudos to them and shout out to them as well. And I can imagine this is a very important thing, because we hear about joint pains and things all the time, even arthritis and things of that nature. I know that there are a lot of people that are dealing with that, even so much so to the point where we have an aches and pains forecast where we keep track of the pressure, where our meteorologist, because I cannot even begin to track any of that, keep track of the pressure just to let people know you may feel some aches and pains today. So the fact that you are coming in and giving them that care is really awesome. And let's see what else we have. Oh, speaking of arthritis, you also have external beam radiation therapy for arthritic patients.
Yes.
I'm sure that's doing wonderful things.
It's new. It's a new type of therapy that you can do, and these are patients who have failed other kinds of therapy or may not be a candidate necessarily for joint replacement. You know, their health condition or some other reason that they can't. This external beam radiation really can just radiate the area and really relieve some of the discomfort and the pain that people have. And we do it in our with our radiation oncology center over in Bluefield. This radiation is also done over there with Dr. Basden, who is an outstanding radiation oncologist. And if people have interest in that, they should really call our office and talk to the folks there, and they can explain it a little bit more, or have their doctor refer to Dr. Basden for this potential treatment, and they can come over for a referral, and he can sort of talk through whether or not they would be an eligible patient for it. But we've had several patients who've come in and just got some, relief of pain that they'd never been able to get in through any other means. So very excited about that. And again, it's a new therapy, and we're offering, at Princeton Community Hospital. How awesome is that?
Absolutely awesome. So we're about a minute or so out from the end of our show, even though I've been having a wonderful time speaking with you, and there's still like multiple topics on here just about, WVU medicine, PCH, but we just won't have time to get through them today. But before we go, do you mind plugging that contact information one more time so people can do the research for themselves?
Oh, absolutely. You can find everything on our website. If you'll just go to the WVU medicine PCH website, you can search. We're happy to be able to help you. For some reason you can't get to the area that you want to get an appointment for or what you need, then you just reach out to us and we'll direct you. But our website's pretty user friendly. Put whatever you need in the search bar and it'll usually take you right to it. Or you can see sometimes on the website there'll be links to click. But go to our website, or again, go to our Facebook page because we talk about all of our events on Facebook.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us for Community Forum, and thank you all for joining us.